So when I initially looked at BT12, I thought I was going to be playing something like Hunters, or even EmperorGreymon, because green didn't get any support besides Quartz this set. But after seeing just one card from the red hybrid support, I fell back into my old bullshit, being typecasted as an aggro player. Wait, that's not the tape. Sorry, my bad. Ain't got a fancy intro like that yet. So to start with, I wanted to talk about a quick discussion concept that surrounds Digimon at this moment in time, and that's the cool thing about Digimon is that a lot of this stuff is interchangeable. If you're new to the game, you can really pick your ratios on things you like and what works best for you, and but for me, my current build is looking like this right now. There's some pieces I'd like to change the ratios on and continue testing, but I like where this is at right now. So I'm going to start with the eggs. So for the eggs, I've been running this Yokomon. I'll explain why I run it over something like the Greymon in a second as part of a combo, but it's a nice little draw when in a deck like this you're always going to have a Tamer out, but there's just as much of a say to be had for playing Greymon. Almost every Digimon you're in this list boosts well over 6 KDP, except for Agunimon, but even then he's probably going to shoot right over it with some inheritables. For example, the Flamemon that we'll see in a second. Rookies! It's all Flamemons. Nemon and Bokomon are both here because it would be illegal to not play these alt arts. Nothing is insanely out of the ordinary here. Almost every one of these Flamemon is fantastic to have. 2 searches, both hitting Takia and hybrids. On one of these you can grab the both a Takia and a hybrid, which is insane, just like Bokomon does here. All the other Flamemon's inheritables are fantastic. I'm really close to wanting to put another piercing Flamemon in just because I've had so many scenarios where I swing over people's Digimon to clear, and because of the Takia Tuck 5, I just always want to ensure I have the piercing to be able to really put the pressure on. Plus DP on this flame is fantastic. Undeletion player Takia is even better on this flame. Boko's Boko. If he lives for a turn, you get so much value, and that value only accrues further every turn he lives. That being said, there's so much stuff that pops rookies on board that I've opted to leave him at 2. Nemon's cool. Being able to play a 4-cost Tamer out for free with a body is just awesome. Puts so much pressure on them when he can even be your final lethal check. His recursion is cool too. A lot of your Agunimon and Flamemons do the same thing, so it can be a bit redundant, but sometimes you might just not have them, which will be rare, but being able to, play out that free body is just fantastic. Oh, so look at him. He's the fucking pants guy. Alright, on to level 4s. Agunimon, Burning Gray, and... Burning Gray. Okay, now that's some variety. As bare bones and simple as all 3 of these are, they all have some pretty neat interactions that have really pushed me to play the deck more than just once and put it back on the shelf. While it still is Unga Bunga I Go Face, I want to put out a cheeky little black box on these 2 Digimon their text right here that names one another. So now for many sets we've had these little 1-cost on the same level Digimon. These 2 ones here, they do the same thing. But now since we have 3 of them, we can digivolve back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between them. Now this isn't always going to be something you do, as it does cost 1 memory to be able to do it, but it's just a fantastic draw engine to burn through your deck whilst adding DB to a level 4 and putting more on deletion play Takias beneath. What initially looks to your opponent like a harmless level 4 coming off of a Tamer drooling at the mouth over your 1 massive suspended stack immediately becomes a way to crunch over almost any suspended Digimon for 3 to 4 memory easily, and just go piercing, keep going further. It's really easy to crunch over everything. They're all pretty cheap to go over Tamers, which is nice. This Burning Gray has a nice little 4k pop to control your opponent's board a bit, but that could almost go to 2 to free up a slot. Agunimon's on deletion is great. Being able to come out of raising with an Agunimon and then with this other Flamemon underneath, swing, die, and then trigger your on deletions in the correct order. You'll be able to play a Flamemon, search, possibly find a Takia you're missing, play the Takia out, and then get the on deletion to draw one on your second turn, and that's just bomba value. Level 5s. So we only run about 6 level 5s, but you can even get away with 5 if you want to. The deck the deck turbos through itself, and I don't think I've had a game where I haven't seen the BT7 Aldemon. And this right here is what made me want to play this deck. For whatever reason, the new BT12 Aldemon's art has given me some serious neuron activation. That fireball powering up moment has he's doing one of these, has absolutely captured my little rat brain. But unfortunately, there's a pretty high chance I'll only be running him at 1. And that's because his effect is okay even at the best of times. It's fine if you don't have your trash loaded, or if you only have the memory set of Takia on board, but it can be redundant when the Tuck 5 Takia places a buttload of inheritables underneath itself. Cool effect nonetheless though, is you can trigger that Tuck 5, miss the EmperorGreymon warp, trigger this Aldemon to tuck 2 more underneath it, and go into it like that. Neat little interaction. I really like that. It's good fun. I'm still looking at other level 5s to see if there's maybe some more unhinged aggression we can get from, say, the BT4 Aldemon, which would super easily allow for 3 checks. Or even 4 with a fun little card we'll see in the future. On just a level 5, the only downside to that card is that it costs a full 3 on top of the initial cost of 2 to get into a level 4, which can be difficult at times, as we want to be safely bursting off of our Tamers, not expecting to be able to leave a level 4 or a 5 on board safely. It's always going to get popped. You want to be bursting off of your Tamer or out of raising and crashing through either your opponent's Digimon or through their security almost every single time. You have to expect that somebody is going to do their best to pop everything that you have on board, and the last few sets have definitely shown us it's not hard to clear a board anymore. So Chimera is another good option. With this current build, you're often going to be able to get the DNA off, easy peasy, lower some DP on board, and maybe tuck that BT7 Aldemon underneath, and it just becomes a free level 5, and it can even be your check for game. Some people just don't see it coming, especially when you have a bunch of little guys out on board. You swing, everything's dead, and then maybe they've taken their opportunity to block something here or there, and then you DNA together, pop something small on board, and swing for game. Like that's what Chimera can be used for pretty easily, pretty often. So back to the BT12 Aldemon. I'm running 2 for fun right now because I like the card art, but competitively that's probably going to change. We'll see. BT7 Aldemon hasn't changed since release. It's a mega in DP, and its inheritable is insanely good. Not having to worry about things like the new 7th full cluster, Chaos Degrade, Mega Death, all of that goes a long way, and just makes security control so much easier. Level 6s. The big dog of the deck himself, EmperorGreymon. The new one is phenomenal. 3 cost, level 6s are goated. Not having to worry that you're going to give your opponent 4 memory or more just so you can get into your level 6 is great. It is awesome. You might notice he has 11k DP, which is the lowest we see for 6s, but as we talked about, almost all of your other Digimon buff that. Just not on your opponent's turn. So we do our best to board wipe to keep him safe for another set of swings, because this guy is going to get a whopping 3 checks in extremely regularly. That Sec +1, as a base ability, puts the work in, but his other abilities deserve a shout out too. When Digivolving, you can pop a 6k, but if it has a Tamer and its Digivolution sources, which it always will, you're going to be able to delete something with less DP to this Digimon instead. And as we've talked about over and over and over, that DP is going to be so far above anything else, it's not funny. On deletion, play another Takia, as if at this point we needed any more recursion. The old BT7 Emperor, I have at 1 currently, but there is definitely merit for it being at 2. You could change the ratios to be 3 and 2 if you'd like. Again, up to you. When Digivolving, Blitz. And if it's blocked, you gain a memory for each hybrid in its Digivolution sources, which is rare to get off, but if you can catch people off with it and the option we have down the track, it is definitely a game ender right there. What we really like here is just the Blitz. More often than not, we don't have enough memory to go into EmperorGreymon and keep our turn, So sometimes it's very necessary to give your opponent 4, blitz through their larger Digimon, and even bait out the block to put some serious pressure on. Tamers. 8 Takuya here. If you're surprised by this lineup after hearing me mention the card over and over, I'd be shocked. There's a world where you can get away with maybe one less of the memory set of Takuya here, as almost all of the rookies search him, but having the 100% consistency to always find one of these in the deck or get one hit in your security cannot be understated. The deck runs on these guys. Not much to this Takuya other than that he memory sets, but his inheritable is neat. While you have 10k DP or more, if you check security, gain 2 memory. If this is you swinging those 3 checks on Emperor Grey and keeping your turn, you just earned the memory to Digivolve into a hybrid for game. This Takuya here is very cool though. You may place 5 hybrids from trash under this Tamer to Digivolve into EmperorGreymon, as though this Tamer is a level 5 Digimon. Now first off, being able to turbo into a 6 for a cost of 3 is phenomenal. Sometimes 4, it's still all good. It's still good. But there are other very neat interactions to be seen here, and the new cards have only pushed that further. First off, you can trigger this big T to tuck all of those hybrids underneath. And then whoops, I won't be going into EmperorGreymon from my hand because the hand is private knowledge. Whether or not I have one does not matter. I've just given a Tamer 5 inheritables, with which I can now do one of 2 things. 1, I can Digivolve it into a level 4 hybrid as usual, and now with insane DP and more ways to dump more Takuyas for free. Or 2, trigger the Aldemon's hand effect to put 2 more sources underneath it and treat it as a level 4 going into a level 5, which is a bit more of a rare scenario, hence why we run a little less of the Aldemon and that I might just run 1. But doing it was fun once nonetheless. Finally, the inheritable gives it Sec +1 at over 10k DP, which is just another bonus and super easy to hit that target. Love it. Finally, we have our options, and I'm going to start with Crimson Blaze. The more I cook on it and mull about it, the more I like Crimson Blaze in this format. So many decks are going wide on things like rookies, level 4s, all that, and it takes only one well-timed Crimson Blaze to ruin their entire game plan, or at least save you from having to wipe 3 to 4 Digimon from the board. Hunters, Bloomlord, Impmons from Beelzemon, and so many other decks rely on having moderately wide boards, and this punishes them for that. Adding in the fact that it reduces cost for every Digimon on the board, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. I haven't even wrote about how it stops people from playing Digimon by effects. Bloomlord is absolutely ruined by this effect. Impmon sometimes, when they play Beelstar in the deck, they're not able to take stuff out of the deck. They can't take their Beelzemon off of the Balmon X's ability. Really frees up a lot of pressure from you. I'd run 3 if I could, but we don't want to have issues with stacked decks either. And finally, the cream of the crop. This deck's most disgusting card, in my opinion, Atomic Inferno. Almost 100% I will be trying to find a way to get this to 4. Which in testing might be excessive, but we will have to see. To put it simply, this card single-handedly turbos the engine into a possible turn 2, turn 3 win. So let's actually read the card here. It says, one of your Digimon gets Sec +1, plus 3k DP, and if your opponent blocks, gain 3 memory. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a lot already. And yes, it really puts the pressure on them when it's coupled with Blitz EmperorGreymon's effect that we talked about before. All this for 1 memory is insane. With the new Emperor, you're easily able to turbo 4 checks with him from this ability. The Takuya, this option, and his innate swing, and that can all be 4, just a cost of 4. You used to have to pay that turn in advance with Tai just for 1 security plus. And if all that wasn't strong enough already, the security fact here is disgusting. When checked, it gives all of your Digimon security +1 until the end of your next turn. So when they hit this bad boy in your security, if they haven't got the appropriate setup to deal with it next turn, or haven't dealt with your Boko, your board of Nemon, Bokomon, rookies, or level 4s, every single Digimon that swings from your side of the field now does at least 2 checks. I don't think I need to explain much more about why I want to put this at 4. So that's the deck. I do a combo section here, but I almost believe that the deck is simple enough for anybody to pick up and just take a game or two to really understand it completely. Set aside for those cheeky and neat little interactions that I was explaining about before, about Takia and Alderman, the deck can really be boiled down to red makes it go faster, hit him in the head, and show their board no quarter. I'll see you next time. Peace.